I reminisce about the love we had. I reminisce about the love we had. Tender moments seem to go so fast. Reminisce, reminisce. I reminisce about the love we had. I reminisce about the love we had. A love so strong it will never pass.
Love Park Connection.
Hey, everybody.
What's up, what's up?
So today I have my co-host back with me, and we are going to talk about, does a woman leave her relationship or divorce, meaning divorcing her husband, without just cause? And what are the reasons?
Wow.
So that's what we're going to talk about today. But
Wait. No questions in there either?
Well, hold on.
Oh, Lord.
Before we get started, let us introduce ourselves. Welcome to Love Park Connection, where we talk about the pains and pleasures of life, love, and relationships. My name is Angela Parker.
I'm Katrece Avery. I'm the give it Pierre Parker a break host.
And Pierre and I are a marriage and relationship coaching duo. We are a marriage and relationship coaching duo. We have been married for 28 years, together for over 30 years, and it's our goal to help couples live peaceful, healthy, long-term relationships and marriages. So we're going to get started. So I'm asking her, I brought her on because she's been married or was married for 22 years, has 4 beautiful children, 6 beautiful grandchildren, but I wanted to know, and I know, but I wanted her to give her side of the story or talk about why she divorced after 22 years. What was her reason for divorce? And did she think it was just cause? So that's what we're going to talk about. So she's going to be doing most of the talking. I'll ask a few questions, but I want her to kind of talk about what was the reason why after 22 years you decided to divorce. And do you see that, especially for women in a certain age range? I think you were divorced at what age? What age did you divorce?
Oh my gosh, you're going to make me do some math here. 43.
Okay. So, and that was another thing that kind of, when I was thinking about this particular topic, that it seems like that women have a tendency, and I don't know the statistics, I think it's something like 60%, I don't know the exact statistics, but women have a tendency after 40 that it's a higher probability that you're more willing to get a divorce. What was your reason for staying so long, 22 years?
So we were married almost 22 years, absolutely. I filed for divorce year 18.
Oh, wow, okay.
It took us 4 years to finalize, to actually divorce.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave him 4 years to get it together.
Okay.
But what made me do it is I journal a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I had written him some letters about things that I needed.
Okay.
And it touched upon, as you talk about sometimes, the 5 love languages.
Mm-hmm.
It touched upon some things like that. And I wrote that maybe year 10.
Wow.
And I gave it to him.
Mm-hmm.
Found the letter again, year 12. Gave it to him. Found the letter again, year 15. Nothing had changed.
Wow.
And so at that point, it was even more distant and more apart. Mm-hmm. And mind you, we had a beautiful family business, raising the kids.
And that's interesting. I've heard you say that before. Mm-hmm. And when you first said it, I was thinking, oh, you guys had a business. And then you said raising the kids. And I was like, oh, okay, interesting way to put it.
I was a stay-at-home mom.
Right.
He took care of the finances.
Mm-hmm.
I took care of running everything else. So we had a wonderful family business. We raised 4 beautiful, amazing adults.
Mm-hmm.
But our connection wasn't there.
Right.
And as your children get older, when they were younger, it was easily to be distracted. You got babies running around, you can't get sleep. I had 4 children, 3 different schools, 4 different after-school activities.
Right.
who had time
You were
to think?
busy.
I was busy.
Right.
But now they're teenagers and they're doing their own thing, driving themselves their own places. We have more time and we're not doing anything together.
Mm-hmm.
And I needed more.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had people saying, oh, girl, go get you a full-time man. He'll be your part-time man, but full-time. Because at the time, my ex, he did work in another city.
Mm-hmm.
And he was not at home except on weekends if he didn't have to work the weekends.
Okay.
So we were really doing things apart.
Wow.
I didn't get married to have a man on the side.
Right.
So I was like,
Right.
no, I would like to do this with my husband.
Right.
But as time kept going on, I mean, literally, I'm watching a movie. I remember one time I'm watching a movie show in the living room. Mm-hmm. No, in the bedroom. Mm-hmm. And the kids come in and they go, oh, that's funny. You and Dad watching the same show.
Wow.
But he's in the other room.
And you guys were that disconnected by then.
Yes. So, and he actually came in and I said, oh, we should watch this together. And he didn't say anything. And I was just like, okay. It just was really a glaring sign of, like you said, how disconnected we were.
Yeah.
Because when, come to think of it, he had come in and left before the kids said we were watching the same show.
Wow.
So he saw that.
So he saw what you were watching. Wow.
So it just showed me how disconnected we were.
Now, do you think by then, of course, when the kids are younger, I mean, kids do pick up on stuff when they're younger, but by the time they were teenagers, did they really, and did they see what was going on? And if so, did they ever acknowledge it with you? Or
My oldest might
your
have.
husband?
My oldest might have, but I tried to keep that distant from the children. I felt children should be children. They don't need to know the problems that me and him are having.
Okay.
And so I did my very best to keep that covered.
Okay.
Too well, in fact, that when we did, I was the bad guy. Because I'm the one that filed for divorce. I'm the one that pushed for the divorce.
And that's interesting because we've talked about this as well, that usually, I'll say 8 times out of 10, it might be higher, I don't know. But usually it's the woman that leaves.
Men stay. They don't leave.
Why do you think? Why? And I know you don't know the real reason, but why do you think? I mean, if you had to come up with some reason why the men choose to stay,
It's easier.
Yeah,
it's just
and so they don't
easier.
look like the bad guy.
I've heard they don't look like the bad guy. It's easier. They don't want to mess up their money. It's a money thing.
So, gentlemen, if this is, we could be wrong. So,
Yes.
if this is something, if you've experienced this,
We would
if
love
you're-
to know.
We would love to know. Leave it in the comments. Do you think men have a tendency to let their wives divorce them and leave?
Or girlfriends break
right?
up.
Right. What? And
Why
if
don't-
so,
why do men stay?
Why?
Why do men stay and not leave? Because honestly, we were married, and I was married for life. I believe, till death do us part. But I was dying inside.
If you think, if you think,
We're going to have to blurp that
we're
one.
going to blurt that
Yeah.
one. If you think that, do you think that if he would have said, I'm leaving, would you have fought at that point?
No.
Oh, that was quick.
I'm going to keep it 100. I was dying inside.
Okay.
I actually was suicidal. I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression. And
it was because
of the marriage.
The marriage? Okay.
I was not getting any emotional support, anything. And I was doing everything by myself.
Okay.
And I don't mind doing stuff by myself, but I'm in a marriage.
Right.
I'm supposed to have a partner.
Right.
And I am
Team,
doing everything myself.
Right.
To where we were not talking on the phone. We were not whatever.
So when he was away doing, working, y'all went you went
Initially, but this went on for years. So initially, yes. But towards the end, no. Less than 5 minutes, if that, every day.
Wow.
If that.
Wow.
And so I went through a lot of, there's a word for it. I was isolated and he ignored me.
Okay.
And I think a part of me feels like he resented me because there's a lot of pressures to be, I'm a stay-at-home mom. So
Right.
he's bringing home the main bacon. Now, I did get, I was a mobile notary for years.
Right.
And that's what I used to pay for the kids' extracurricular stuff and to supplement some things.
But that was an agreement you guys had, though,
Yes,
right?
yes.
That you would stay at home and he would be the primary breadwinner.
Right.
Okay. So it wasn't really like you said, well, I want to stay at home.
No, we did it because it was when we moved where we moved, it was cheaper. It was cheaper cost of living, get a
Right.
bigger place, and he could make more money overtime than I could in a full-time job.
Right.
And I
okay.
wasn't going to work full-time just for daycare. That was just me.
Right. When you have 4.
When you have 4,
yeah.
that's daycare. I'm working for daycare. When I could just cut back a little bit and stay at home.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm grateful. That's why I'm grateful to him for that. To be able to stay at home, raise our children, and be an integral part of their lives.
Right. So you had all these, your relationship was the traditional relationship. So that's what we talk about traditional wife, gentlemen, is that she stayed home. She took care of all the household. She took care of the
didn't
children.
have to do anything.
And he provided. So that's what we talk about when you say you want a traditional relationship, a traditional marriage. That's what we talk about, that even though you stayed at home, that's a full-time job. 4 kids especially, taking care of the household, doing all that. And he brought in the income to help you be able to stay at home. So that is what, in essence, is a traditional. Right, exactly.
But I will say what I feel that I also made the mistake is he did not have to do anything.
Okay.
And I felt that because, again, he's working his full-time job plus overtime to compensate.
Right.
And then we lived, I'll say 2 hours, an hour and a half to 2 hours away from where he worked.
Yeah.
That's a full-time job too.
Yeah.
So when we first started doing it, he was coming home every night.
Oh, wow.
For the first 5 years. So I was like, I'm not going to ask him to do anything. So he just had to bring home the bacon. The bills was paid. We got a gardener, whatever. Everything was taken care of.
Right.
But the second half of the 5 years, it was too much physically a toll. So he started staying closer to work and would stay there Monday through Friday or Monday through Saturday. And I know for 2 years...
Sorry about that. That's our dog.
Shelly, shh.
So sorry, you guys. You're hearing the dogs in the
barking.
background. Go ahead.
But for 2 years, he worked every Saturday.
Dang.
So I only saw him maybe one day a week. So with that, I'm not asking for anything.
Right.
But what I found was when you don't, there's a disconnect from them, in my opinion, being plugged into the home.
Right.
There is a type of connection they have with the home by having to mow the lawn or regularly honeydew list or pick up the kids or something. And because of...
Go ahead. Go ahead. It's okay.
Because I didn't have that with him, there was a disconnect.
Right.
And so for me, I always felt like had I not done everything, he might have had a better connection with home.
Do you think,
I'm not saying that there's no excuse or whatever, but I do, if going back, I would never take everything on.
Well, even with, and I hear what you're saying, but even with him not having to do physical labor, because I'm sure that, if you're working 6 days a week, you have, and you have to go back and forth, that heavy commute, even if you're not asking him to do a simple honeydew list, but for him just to plug in with the kids, even if it's just watching TV with the kids, talking with you, because that doesn't require physical, where he probably is physically tired because he had a physical job, physically tired, but at least plugging in emotionally with you guys, because that can go a long way too.
When you are that tired, I can't speak for him because I wasn't him.
Right.
But he didn't have anything to give.
Okay.
And at least I know he became in my opinion, a better father when we divorced.
Okay.
I feel he was a better father.
Wow.
But
because then he was forced to have that connection with his children. You weren't there as the buffer.
The buffer, right. So that's why I'm saying there was some things I totally take responsibility for.
Okay.
Because we should never have done it that long. It was never our end goal anyway. It was, he was going to do that for a while. I was going to work for HP. He was going to do something else. The sheriffs went on a hiring freeze. HP broke up their campus and sold it off.
Yeah.
And we never came up with another plan.
Okay.
And so that became the continued goal instead of temporary.
Okay. Now you tell a story, and you've told me this story about, and this is one of the incidences where you felt you weren't getting what you needed from the relationship. You used to ride motorcycles. You and your husband used to ride motorcycles, and you were on this trip or something. Can you kind of?
It depends on which incident. There's multiple instances. Which one?
Okay, I just remember the one where you were on a going on this motorcycle trip. And, he kind of left you, instead of staying with his wife on your motor, you guys driving together, he took off, and then you had this accident or close to an accident.
Oh, so that was the first time I rode. It was multiple. So basically, I got into motorcycles because of him.
Okay. Trying to find that connection.
Yes.
Okay.
He started hanging out. He's always wanted to ride a motorcycle. And thankfully, I was able to find a way for us to get the money to get him the motorcycle of his dreams.
Okay.
And before it, we were talking about, I want to ride and all that stuff. But the moment he got the bike, I wasn't allowed to touch it.
Okay.
And he was like, well, it's not until you get the class. So I took the motorcycle riding class.
Right.
I still couldn't touch his bike. So I was like, so 6 months later, I get the money to get my own bike.
So he didn't even, because I know sometimes you have somebody you can ride on the back.
I rode on, but that's why I started to learn how, because riding on the back, I couldn't move.
Okay.
That's impossible. It's uncomfortable. It's painful to just sit on the bike and you can't move.
Okay.
And so, and I can say maybe he wasn't as comfortable having someone on the back with him. So that's what made me get into it. Plus, he was going off to Monterey. He was going off to Carmel.
Right.
He was going on rides with his boys. And these are places I haven't even been with him.
Okay.
And I'm like, the kids are older now. I would
Right.
love to spend time with you.
Right.
So my mind was, well, maybe if I get a bike, I can ride with you too.
Okay.
So I did get a bike. But it was my first time out really on the bike. And like I said, I had taken the class 6 months prior.
Okay.
It took me 6 months to get my bike. So I'm kind of, and he didn't let me practice on his. I mean,
Okay.
his bike was a bigger bike, but still.
Right.
I was like, I could still, do some of the stuff.
Right.
So I got my own bike. We went out, and he was not with me. He did not ride with me. He would ride ahead. And luckily, they did put me in the middle.
Okay.
But in this particular incident, because I hadn't ridden really in a while, when you go around a curve, your body leans to the side.
Right.
It's a very weird feeling because you're in your car, you're like this. When you're on
Right.
a motorcycle, your whole body goes like
Right.
this.
Right.
And so my bike went like that, and it freaked me out. And when you freak out, what keeps a motorcycle going is the throttle.
Okay.
I let go of the throttle. And so I'm drifting into oncoming traffic.
Oh.
So the boys behind me are like, all I saw was death, because literally I'm drifting on the side into oncoming traffic. But the words of my instructor came in my head, and he said, if you ever are drifting, look where you want to go and give the bike gas. So I looked where I wanted to go, went like that. The bike popped up and we went. And so after that, everybody was like, oh my God, your wife almost, and he just was like, kind of fussed at me a little bit. Instead,
so there was no, baby, are you okay?
No.
How you,
No. This is why I wouldn't let you ride my bike. Yeah. No. So, I mean, and I became a really good rider. I mean, that particular bike, I love that bike. It was my first bike. It would cut off we had something going on with it, so it would cut off. So literally, while you're riding, it would just shut off.
Oh.
So I had to learn how to click it back down to first, turn it back on, click it back up.
Yeah.
That's a lot to remember while you're riding a motorcycle.
Right.
So traded that motorcycle in and got a new motorcycle.
Right.
Which I loved for years. But even that, we never became close because of it.
Okay.
Because the other time, that's why I asked you which one, is we went riding with just a couple of people downtown where we lived. And I'm a girl, but I ride.
Right.
But I had pink leathers.
Right.
You can tell I'm a woman on a bike. But I had pink leathers. My bike had big pink lips on the side.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so when we got where we were going, kids and people were like, oh my God, she rides. Oh my God, she rides.
Yeah.
They weren't paying attention to the guys. They was paying attention to the...
Right,
It was
right.
me, another female rider. And he got annoyed with that. And he was like, well, who you think you are? Miss Hollywood. And at this point in the marriage, we were, like I said, I was trying. But I was also in a point where I'm not going to let you keep talking me down.
Right.
So when he said, who you think you are, Miss Hollywood? I said, ooh, I need a motorcycle name. I think I will go. So I went by Pink Hollywood.
Okay.
Because I was like, I flipped it.
Yeah.
Which didn't make, but that's where our dynamic was.
Right.
Because I would think, man, and that was period. It's like, what I found out later was I gain a lot of attention even when I'm not trying.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And you know this.
Right.
If I'm myself, I gain attention. If I'm quiet, I gain attention.
Right.
And he used to fuss at me and say, because my friends would come over and I'd be really excited.
Right.
That's just who I am.
Right, right.
You act like a puppy peeing on themselves. So that's what he would say. So early marriage, I would tamper that down.
Yeah.
And I'd be quiet. Or he'd come home and I'd be excited. And he'd be like, and I'd be like, I'd tamper that down.
Yeah.
And finally I started going, this is who I am.
Right.
So either you don't like who I am or something, but this is who I am.
Right.
And so especially with the writing, I got a lot of attention. And it turned out he wanted that attention. At least that's how I felt. Because it's true. Motorcycle people do get a lot of attention.
But you would think...
but again...
Well, no, I'm going to say because I know like with Pierre, he doesn't mind when I get attention from, other men. He, he's like, hey, that's mine. So, but you would think that he would get the attention through, be able to say, hey, that's mine. Yeah, and, dudes like, man, that's your woman.
He would, from what I'm told, he would get, man, that's your woman. How'd you get her?
Oh, and it hurt his feelings.
He would take it instead of going, but she mine, because I was completely dedicated.
Right.
And if I dressed up and whatever, he'd be like, why are you walking? Because I have a walk. I'm working on getting it back because I hurt my ankle, but I have a walk and heels.
Right.
Why you got to walk like that? Why you got to dress like that?
Right.
And,
yeah.
When you're trying to please, so I would try to tamper it
it
down.
Right.
But then I'm finally like, why aren't you proud?
Right.
I'm on your arm.
Right.
Why aren't you happy?
I'm dedicated
this
to
is my
you.
baby. Why aren't you like, this is mine?
Right.
I remember one time we went out to, it was a company party, and I found this dress at Ross. I got it at Ross. But I felt kind of Beyonce-ish because the back was showing.
Yeah.
The back, I had this flat tummy kind of at the time.
Right.
I thought I was feeling kind of good.
Right.
Kind of bootylicious there. I was like, yeah. I did. But I guess it didn't get the attention. I mean, it got attention that he didn't like. I don't know.
Wow.
So I wasn't pretty to him, I guess.
Yes, yeah.
So it just, I started to believe he didn't like me.
Okay.
He belongs to, it's called Kojic, Church of God in Christ. I am not Kojic. I am not Church of God in Christ. I'm a free spirit.
Right.
So I was like, you shouldn't marry one of them because it's
Right.
But I just started thinking he didn't like me.
Yeah.
And if you don't like me, there's nothing I can do.
No.
There's nothing I can do. I mean, I've said to it before, how people treat you is different. It's different energies.
Right.
And yes, when we were younger, when the kids were younger, it was easier to overlook because I was too busy.
Yeah.
But when kids are older and we have time and you don't want to spend time with me, well, who am I supposed to spend time with?
Right.
Who am I supposed to go out with? Who am I supposed to do whatever with? And then when I asked to spend time with you and you constantly, I waited. There was a movie by Martin, Blue Streak with Martin Lawrence.
Yeah.
I never saw it because I waited 2 years to see. I waited months to go see it with him.
And it never happened. Clearly.
I still ain't seen that movie. No, it was
we'll have to pull it up and see that.
I've
movie.
never seen it. I hope it's a good one because I've just never. It just became a thing, and it's just like where I'm not getting birthday presents. I'm not getting Christmas presents.
Wow.
I'm not.
I didn't know it was that deep.
Yeah, I started buying my own Christmas presents, under the tree. And then one year I was like, I'm not doing this. And that year I didn't buy myself Christmas presents. He lectured the kids on how good they got it because they got presents. And I was like, that ain't got nothing to do with the kids, man. Do your hair. Right. It was just, again, and then I'd see him do things for other people who
Yeah.
he wouldn't, other women, he wouldn't do for me, like pumping their, borrowed somebody's car and he washed their car, pumped their gas. When we were separated, he put gas in my car.
When you were separated? Okay.
For me, I should say, take my
Yeah,
car out.
right, right.
Uh-huh.
So if he were to all of a sudden miraculously change and want to come back into your life at this
Hell
point
no.
in your life, would
Hell
you?
no. Hell no. I
you-
don't mean that
that ship
negatively.
had-
Hell to the no.
That ship has sailed, huh?
Hell to the no, motherfucking no. But when we were married, I just wanted a little bit. Just a little bit.
Right.
I was like, I just wanted the basics.
And that's what you've said. You have said to me that if he would have given you just a little bit of what you've asked for, you'd probably still be married.
Because marriage was a lifetime commitment. I meant that.
Right.
But if I'm not getting nothing,
Right.
and he's even telling the kids, don't be like your mom, don't be like your mom.
Right.
And for a while I was like, yeah, don't be like me. And then finally years later I was like, why not? What's wrong with me? Yes, I want them to be even better than me, but why you keep saying don't be like your mom?
Do you think that has had an impact on how your children view you?
Oh, yes. It starts from the top. And in our household, he was the head of the household.
Right.
And it starts from the top down.
Yeah.
And so it does have an impact. And so for me, I had to find my own self-worth within myself. But it hurt to see that he didn't see the value that I brought.
Have you, since you've been divorced for so long, have you sat down and asked him what was the issue?
No.
Do you think even if you did, do you think he'd be honest, or do you think he even knows?
He still doesn't respect me now, in my opinion. For family, I will do a whole lot.
Right. Yeah.
And for family, he has been since married. I accepted his new wife. Tried to make her feel comfortable.
Right.
Even when we were getting along and we started to get along, then he pushed away because of his wife. Not a problem.
Okay.
But I am the mother of your children.
Right.
There is a level to me of respect you still give that.
Right.
And I didn't get it.
Okay.
And I finally decided so he would come in and not speak. And this is after the divorce. Because he blames me because I walked away. I did divorce him. But at some point, it's now been 12 years. But at some point, I'm not going to keep speaking to you and you can't speak to me.
Right.
I'm not going to keep giving you that energy.
Yeah.
So your relationship with your children is set.
Right.
You don't need me.
Right. Yeah.
They're grown. So for me, I decided I only give my energy to those who deserve it. I have nothing to give him.
Right.
So when I see him now, if he speaks to me, I'll speak back.
Okay.
Beyond that, I don't.
Yeah.
And I've had the kid, Mom, Dad said you're not. Perfect example is there's a website you can go on to find lost money.
Okay. Yeah.
I went on it, it's about 5 years now. I went on it 5 years ago, and there is a check in both our names for $200-something.
Yeah.
That's us, but we both can't get it until we both sign it.
Okay.
It was from the first house we had. So I signed it. I sent him the information. Never heard anything. Sent it to the kids. Give this to your dad.
Right.
It's $100.
Right.
Never heard anything.
Yeah.
Nothing. He sent me an inappropriate text 2 years ago. I was like, it was booty call text, mind you. I know I look good. You ain't got to tell me. But he sent me a text, and it was a booty call text. And so after that, I said, oh, but he's texting me. Let me send him the information for the money.
Crickets, huh? Silence.
Silence. So basically for me, I've just kind of said, I've accepted who I am. I appreciate him for the marriage we had.
Right.
And to raise our children.
Right.
But I will not give any energy
Right.
to that anymore. I can't.
Right. No. That's
If
true.
you don't even have the respect as I am the mother of your children, and then you still want to hit me, heck no. No. you don't talk to me, and then all of a sudden I get out the blue. No.
Yeah.
I even said, "Are you drunk?" I was like, I said in the back, have you been drinking?
Right.
Because I was like, I don't talk to you, and you're gonna send me a text, and you want to come over and have dinner? No.
Right. What, in your opinion, I know this is only your opinion, why do you think women, going back to our initial kind of topic, why do you think women wait until they're in their 40s? Do you think it's like this coming of an aha moment? The kids are probably adults or close to being adults, and they're just like, I'm done?
So, two things. They say when you're 40s, you stop caring what other people think. And then in your 50s, it's all about you.
It's all, yes. There's no fucks to give in the 50s. None. Maybe it's the menopause. You
I don't know, but it is something.
It's refreshing. It's like a weight has been lifted because you no longer feel like you have to please everybody.
And I was a people pleaser.
Yeah.
I don't people please anymore.
Yeah.
But in my 40s, I did feel that I can't. What an epiphany hit me in my 40s. I can't please everyone.
Right.
Even if you tried to please everyone, there's still somebody that's not pleased.
Exactly.
And then you're still trying to kiss up to that person because you didn't please them, but you pleased the other 5.
Right.
And then somebody else is going to get mad. So the epiphany hits you, and it's like the only person you can please is yourself.
Right.
You have to live authentically yourself. So I started living my authentic self.
Right.
And so that's part of it. But the other part was, again, that letter. It was the same letter, just photocopied, given back.
Wow.
And I'm like, I knew there was problems year 3. But nothing's perfect. Tried to fix them, tried to work on them. And I'm like, it's not going to get any better because, again, I can't love myself for the both of us.
Right.
And I was loving myself for the both of us.
Right.
And no disrespect to him, but truthfully, I believe he wanted someone to be married too. So he wanted to be married.
Right.
He didn't want to be married to me.
Okay.
That is different.
Right.
Whereas when I accepted, I wanted to be married to him. I wasn't just married to be married.
Right.
So I wanted to be married to him.
Right.
If he said, I did stuff just to please him.
Okay.
To make sure he was pleased.
Right.
But I never got that back.
Right.
And at some point I was like, I can't live this way.
No.
And I wanted my children to know marriage was more than what we were demonstrating it to be. Because we were not demonstrating a good, to me.
Yeah.
We had demonstrated the longevity and the work ethic.
Right.
But the compatibility, we did not.
Yeah. Okay.
We definitely did not. I can't tell you. There's too many stories, but it's just, yeah.
Okay. Like I like to ask at the end of any of our podcasts, what words of wisdom would you give a woman?
It's not even just a woman. It's something when people ask me, ooh, what do you think about this person? Oh, I've had a lot of people come up to me and say, I'm thinking about getting married to their significant other.
Right.
What do you think? And the thing I tell them is this. If the person you are with was not to change anything, could you stay with them for the rest of your life?
So don't go in it thinking that they're going to change or you're
a
going
lot
to
of
change
people
them.
go into relationships thinking,
they'll change.
Once
They'll
we
get
get this
married,
better.
yeah.
They're going to do this, and this. How about you accept them for who they are?
Yeah.
So are you in love with who they are or their potential? So if you want to marry someone, if they don't change nothing,
right,
can you be with them for the rest of your life? If you can't say yes, then you don't need to get married.
right.
If your answer is yes, or yes, they got to change, or you don't need to. You don't need to be with that person. Period.
Yeah.
And I say that because I tried to be someone I wasn't.
Right.
And one of the stories I give, there was a little girl at the church. We all went to church, very church going. There was a little girl we went to at church. And I don't even know how it started, but when she saw me, I would light up like, hey, baby. I'd give her a big old hug.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was our interaction. But every Sunday, that was how we did it.
Right.
And that was the puppy peeing on itself that he used to say.
Right.
But I did it for her.
Yeah.
And one Sunday, her father came up to me and he says, I want to thank you. And I was like, for what? He said, my wife and I are going through a divorce. And it was hurting the little girl. She says, but every Sunday she can't wait to come to church to see you. Just because of the love I gave her.
Right.
And so I was like, God made me this way.
Yeah.
I get excited to see people. That is who I am.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to change that. If you don't like it, then that's something else of me you don't like.
Right.
So when I said that to him, it shut him up. Because I was like, then you don't like me.
When you said that to your husband?
Yeah.
Okay.
When we were married, I said, what don't you like? Well, I don't, you probably, that's who I am.
Right.
I get excited when I see people.
Right. I get excited when I see you, right?
He didn't like that either, but I did. I mean,
Right,
I admired and adored that man. Like, I was ready for life.
Yeah.
But so that kind of opened my eyes to, you don't like me. Why do you walk like that? I've had people, we got to do a walk off with her because she.
I told her that before she hurt her ankle. I said, you need to get some classes on how to walk in some heels because this girl be strutting.
Somebody else calls me swivel because I strut, but he didn't like it. Why you dress like that? He didn't. Those are all key elements of who I was.
Right.
So if you don't like it, then you don't like me, and that's okay.
Right.
But that's okay. But then we don't need to be together.
Right.
So I appreciate him for the magical family we had. But it did a number on me in regards to getting back out there in relationships.
Yeah.
Because I can't say I've had a true partnership.
Right.
Because we were separated. We were
Yeah.
disconnected. I want to say separate, but disconnected.
Right.
So the advice I would give is, one, can you accept that person for who they are?
Right.
Who they are. So like when you ask, can I get back? No, I can't. No. The who person he is? No.
Yeah.
I am a different person now.
Right.
Can you accept the person for who they are? And two, love yourself.
Right.
Because you can easily lose yourself in a relationship.
Definitely.
And I lost completely who I was.
Right.
I had to rediscover, who am I?
Right.
Who am I apart from, out of the identity of being someone's wife?
Yes.
Especially being
Yes.
someone's wife in name only.
Yes. Oh, okay. Yeah.
For me, it was in name only.
In name only. Right.
Yeah, most people didn't know what my husband looked like.
Wow.
Whether most people didn't know.
No.
At least my crew of friends that I developed
Right.
didn't know what he looked like.
Wow.
So
That says
he
a
could have
lot.
been imaginary for all I knew.
That says a lot.
Right.
That says a
So
lot.
I had to discover who I was outside of that.
Yeah.
And outside of that, and outside of being a mother. My identity was so wrapped in being his wife and their mother.
Right.
I didn't know who I was.
Right.
So
Right.
there's a piece of me that's still discovering who I am.
Yeah.
And it changes everything.
Right. It does.
It changes everything. But that's the biggest thing is, do you accept your partner for who they are?
Yeah.
Do you like your partner? You can love somebody and not like them.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely.
So moving to my next stage of life, when I meet someone, they're going to have to be my friend.
Yeah.
Because we did not have a friendship.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I'm going to give 100, you give 100.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give 100 and you just, there because it's your responsibility. And that's what I was. Towards the end of our marriage, it was like I was the fifth child. I was just the oldest child taking care of the house.
Taking care of the house.
I don't want to feel like that.
No.
I'm grown. I'm your partner.
Right. That's the key
And if I
word,
call you
partner.
daddy, it ain't because you my daddy. It's because you my daddy.
I like that.
If I'm going to call you daddy, it's going to be like, hey, daddy. It ain't going to be like, daddy, different time.
Hi, Poppy.
Yeah, hey, Poppy. It's going to be different. But not because you my dad, I didn't need a
Right.
father.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So, but we do, at least for me, I tried. Mm-hmm. I gave it even when I had nothing else to give, I still gave. And I finally had to just walk away.
Yeah. And again, it goes back to saying there's something, like you said, about 40 where you like, you've matured, you've grown, you you know what you like and you dislike. And so that's usually when there's this rediscovery, like, you know what, maybe this marriage is not going to work. So I'm going to go ahead and cut ties now while I'm still young enough to maybe find something else.
I mean, it's twofold, because there was a movie called I Can Do Bad All By Myself.
Right.
I literally felt, well, shoot, I could do bad. I don't want a side piece.
Right.
Side man.
Right.
I'm by myself now.
Right.
Why not just be by myself?
Why not? Right.
But then on the flip side, I tell it to people who are, if you can work it out, it's cold out in these streets. It's hard out in these streets.
But you both have to want to work it out. It can't be one person.
It cannot be one and not the other.
Right.
You both have to. And so, and I can say this, the coldness, he was very cold to me.
Okay.
When we were separated, he tried to win me back. And when you've been hurt, you tend to be, you don't trust that it's real.
Right.
And I didn't. And I was cold to him.
Okay.
In the same ways he was cold to me.
Right, right.
He lasted a month.
He didn't like that feeling.
He lasted a month.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, in my head, I went years with this treatment.
Yeah.
And I said this to him, I was treated like this by you for years, and you couldn't even last 30 days. He had nothing to say.
I mean, he said it all just by not saying anything. He said it all.
So I was like, and if you really wanted me back, you understood that you're going to have to eat some shit.
And work for it.
To work for it. Because he put, again, I didn't put our business out on the street.
Right.
What happens in the house stays in the house. But his mindset was he took care of the bills, he was doing his job. But I needed that emotional. And when you have no emotional connection, and I mean none.
I was telling Pierre, that's a topic we need to talk about. What do men think? What do men feel their responsibilities? And not all men, but what do men feel that their responsibilities are in the relationship, other than just being a provider? Because there's so much more.
So much more. I needed that emotional connection. I needed time. I needed his time.
Right.
And I didn't get that. And then I needed to be cherished by him.
Right.
And if he didn't like me, he definitely wasn't cherishing me.
Right.
So it was like, I just really don't believe he liked me. And he married me thinking I can change her.
Okay.
And I did for a long time. But
you weren't being authentically you.
one, I wasn't being myself, and I didn't get the benefit of it.
Okay.
If you're going to make me change, can I get the benefit?
Give me some for
Give me
it.
the benefit of this. I'm not even getting the benefit, so what am I
Right.
changing for?
Right.
So that's why I'm saying you have to want to be with the person
Yeah.
that you're with. But you also have to know, and for yourself, know and like yourself.
Right.
So, I mean, like I said, I appreciate the time we had together.
Yeah.
And we have never had our conversation. We don't even need to have the conversation. Because like I said, I appreciate what we did have.
Right. Okay.
But I am so past that now. If anything he wants to give me, it's called when we are together, just show me the common decency and respect that you give the mother of your children.
Right. Exactly.
But I don't get that. So at this point, I have no expectations.
Yeah.
I go for my family. I enjoy my family.
Right.
And I'm there for my family.
Exactly.
And whatever that means, because that's what we do.
Yeah.
Especially as Black women, we know how to put everything on our backs and keep it moving.
Keep it pushing. Yeah.
But my next relationship, trust and know, that's my partner.
Right. Right.
And he can be my daddy.
Well, thank you, love, for coming and
Absolutely.
sharing your life with us, and, giving us some insight as to, why women in their 40s, possibly do decide, hey, this is enough. This lady also is an artist. Check out her artwork. That's a piece that she did for us, and she had a show. It was phenomenal. Her artwork is amazing. She also has her own business. She's
IT business.
She's
If
you
you need any IT help, like just Zoom, just anytime, any
Yeah.
type of website help.
Right, because she designed my website,
Or
so
if
yeah.
you need just help with your business, or you're a part of a business that need help, I help people with their remote developing a hybrid remote culture.
Right.
When you work, because that is a culture.
Yeah, yeah.
And policies and protocols. And
Yeah.
I do it all.
So her information will be in the description. So please check out her website for her art.
my tech-
Colorblind, yeah,
Colorblind
Colorblind
by
by
Nani.
Nani. Her tech business.
Is oh my gosh, Gemini Virtual Planning Services.
But again, it'll be in the description. Please check out her stuff if you need help with IT. She's a huge help to me because, when I was trying to write my book and trying to build this whole YouTube online coaching business, she was like, "Stop, get out your lane, get out." When she said, "Get out my lane, stay in your lane, write your book, and I'll deal with all the IT." So she's been a tremendous help. Check her stuff out. Again, it'll be in the show note. It'll be in the description. Please check out my book. Buy it. 30 Years and Counting. It's on the website at loveparkconnection.com. It'll also be in the description. It is available in paperback. It's available in ebook. And one day I'll do the audio. I haven't gotten
And
it
if you
yet.
can't tell, yes, this is the picture.
Yeah, that is the picture.
inspired
Yes,
that.
that's the
Yes,
picture that was
absolutely.
inspired.
Yeah.
Please like, share, subscribe, leave comments if you have questions.
Oh, and definitely the fellas, we want to know. We want to hear from you.
Yes.
Why do men stay?
Yeah, why do they say?
Why do you stay?
Why are you staying? And yeah, the ladies are out there saying, nope, not taking
Not
this
taking
no
it
more.
no more. We out.
So let us know why you stay. Maybe we're missing something because we're coming from a woman's perspective. So give us some insights as to why you stay. And ladies, if this resonated with you, you're in your 40s or even you're younger. But if this resonated with you, leave some comments. Let us know what you think. Again, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I think that's it.
check out other podcasts. They're pretty dope.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, you guys, take care. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.